Ever wonder why some people stay perfectly calm while others crumble under pressure? The secret isn't luck or magic, it's mastery. Picture this. Two people face the same insult. One explodes with anger, their day ruined. The other smiles untouched and moves forward with quiet confidence. That difference, that's power, real power. The kind that doesn't come from money or status, but from something far more valuable, unshakable emotional control. Most people go through life as emotional puppets, their strings pulled by every inconvenience, rude comment or bad day. But not you, not anymore. Today, you'll discover how to build an inner fortress so strong that no outside chaos can penetrate it. This isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending not to feel. It's about something far more powerful, choosing how you respond. Imagine walking through a storm while remaining completely dry. That's what emotional mastery feels like. The ability to stand firm while chaos rages around you. The journey begins with a simple but profound truth. Your reactions are optional. Every time life throws a challenge your way, you stand at a crossroads. You can react like the majority, impulsive, emotional, handing your power away. Or you can respond like the unshakable few. The choice is always yours. This is the art of emotional alchemy, transforming frustration into focus, anger into action, and chaos into clarity. Think of the calmest, most composed person you know. What makes them different? They've mastered the pause, that sacred space between what happens and how they respond. In that pause lies infinite power. It's where ordinary people become extraordinary, where victims become victors. And starting today, it's where you'll begin rewriting your story. The world will test you. That's guaranteed. But your peace, that's non-negotiable. This isn't just about handling tough moments. It's about reclaiming your birthright, the freedom to choose your state of mind, no matter what's happening around you. That freedom changes everything. It turns obstacles into opportunities. It transforms noise into silence. And most importantly, it gives you something most people spend their lives searching for: unshakable inner peace. The kind of peace that can't be bought, only built, brick by brick, choice by choice, moment by moment. The path won't always be easy, but it will always be worth it, because on the other side of this journey waits the best version of you, calm, controlled, and utterly unstoppable. So take a deep breath. The storm is coming, and for the first time in your life, you'll be ready. The storm within. Why your reactions are the only thing standing between you and unshakable peace. Let me tell you about the day I realized emotions were just weather patterns. I was stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting, when some guy cut me off. My hands clenched the wheel. My face burned with anger, until I noticed the driver. He was laughing, singing along to some song, completely unfazed. That's when it hit me. We were in the exact same situation, but having completely different experiences. Why? Because while we can't control what happens to us, we absolutely control what happens within us. Most people live like emotional pinballs, constantly reacting to every bump and nudge from the outside world. They think their feelings are facts rather than what they really are. Temporary states that we can observe and let pass like clouds across the sky. But here's the life-changing truth. Between what happens to you and how you respond, there's always a space. In that space lies all your power. The power to choose. The power to remain unshaken. Think about the last time someone really pushed your buttons. Maybe it was a rude comment, an unfair criticism, or just someone being inconsiderate. Remember that hot flash of anger? That was your body's ancient wiring kicking in. The fight or flight response that hasn't updated since we were running from saber-toothed tigers. But you're not a caveman. You have something our ancestors didn't. A prefrontal cortex capable of overriding those primal impulses. The question is, are you using it? The most powerful people in history, From spiritual leaders to elite warriors, all shared one secret: emotional discipline. They weren't emotionless. They simply refused to be ruled by their emotions. When insulted, they chose silence over shouting. When provoked, they responded with calm instead of chaos. This isn't about bottling up your feelings. It's about not letting your feelings bottle you up, about being the ocean rather than the wave. Here's how this plays out in real life. When you react immediately, you're operating from your limbic system, the emotional, primitive part of your brain. But when you pause even for just 3 seconds, you engage your prefrontal cortex, the rational decision-making part. That tiny pause is where your power lives. It's the difference between being a puppet and being the puppeteer of your own emotion. Imagine going through your day with this superpower. The rude barista doesn't ruin your morning. The stressful email doesn't spike your blood pressure. The unexpected setback, just another problem to solve, rather than a personal attack. This isn't fantasy. It's what emotional mastery looks like in practice. And it starts with recognizing one simple truth: no one can make you feel anything without your permission. The journey to becoming unshakable begins with awareness. Start noticing your emotional triggers, like a scientist observing an experiment. That tightness in your chest when you're stressed, the heat in your face when you're angry. These are just physiological responses. They don't have to dictate your actions. With practice, you can create space between feeling and reacting until that space becomes wide enough to build an entire new way of being. Remember, every emotional reaction you don't indulge makes you stronger. Every temptation to lash out that you resist builds your self-control muscle. Like any skill, emotional mastery takes practice. Some days you'll nail it, other days you'll stumble, but each conscious choice adds up until one day you realize you've become the calm in the storm, the eye of the hurricane, unmovable, unshakable, finally free. The unshakable mindset. How to rewire your brain for unbreakable calm. You're sitting in traffic, late for an important meeting. Horns blare. Your phone buzzes with urgent messages. That familiar heat rises up your neck, your pulse quickens, your jaw clenches. This is the moment that separates the emotionally mastered from the emotionally hijacked. Here's what most people never realize. Your brain is wired for survival, not peace. Those flashes of anger, that simmering frustration, they're ancient alarm systems screaming danger when all you're facing is rush hour traffic or a rude email. But you're not a caveman. You have a choice. The game changer comes when you start seeing emotions for what they really are. Temporary weather patterns in your mind. They come, they go unless you grab onto them and refuse to let go. Think about the last time you were furious. Really furious. Where's that anger now? Gone like smoke in the wind. The situation didn't change. You just stopped feeding the fire. This is the secret of the unshakable. They don't resist emotions. They don't suppress them. They simply refuse to be ruled by them. When insulted, they breathe. When provoked, they pause. When life throws chaos their way, they become the calm within it. Not because they're special, but because they've practiced what most people won't. The art of response over reaction. Your emotional freedom starts with a simple but radical shift. Stop believing every feeling demands action. That tightness in your chest when stressed, just a sensation. That voice in your head screaming, "This isn't fair," just a thought. You are not your emotions. You're the awareness behind them. The more you practice this separation, the wider that crucial gap between trigger and response becomes. Imagine your mind as a clear mountain lake. Thoughts and emotions are ripples on the surface, some small, some large. Most people dive into every ripple, thrashing about in the waves they create. The emotionally mastered, they rest in the depths, undisturbed. They know the storm will pass. It always does. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent. About recognizing that While you can't control what happens to you, you always control what happens within you. That rude coworker, they can't make you angry. Only you can do that. The traffic jam, it can't create stress. Only you can. The path to emotional mastery begins with one conscious breath, one intentional pause, one moment where you choose not to react, but to respond. It's in these small victories that the unshakable mind is built brick by brick, moment by moment. So the next time life tests you, and it will, remember the storm around you doesn't matter nearly as much as the stillness you cultivate within. That stillness, that's your superpower, and it's been inside you all along. The alchemy of emotional mastery, transforming leaden reactions into golden responses. Consider this. When a doctor taps your knee with that little rubber hammer, your leg jerks automatically. That's a reflex. Now imagine living your entire emotional life like that knee, jerking to every tap life gives you. Most people do. But you're about to learn how to remove the hammer from life's hands. The magic happens in the space between stimulus and response. Right now, that space might feel microscopic, a nanosecond between someone's rude comment and your heated reply. But here's the life-changing secret. That space is expandable. With practice, you can stretch that brief moment into a spacious arena where you, not your emotions, call the shots. Think of your mind as a private theater. Until now, you've been sitting in the audience, reacting to whatever drama plays out on stage, laughing when it's funny, crying when it's sad, raging when there's conflict. Emotional mastery means moving to the projection booth. You still see and feel everything, but now you're observing rather than being swept away by the show. Let's expose the great illusion. You don't control external events, but you absolutely control their emotional after effects. When someone insults you, two wounds occur. The initial sting, which you can't prevent, and the prolonged suffering, which you absolutely can. Most people keep picking at the first wound until it becomes infected with resentment. The emotionally mastered, they disinfect it with perspective and let it heal. Your breakthrough will come when you realize emotions are like ocean waves. They rise, they peak, they dissipate. The untrained mind tries to stop the waves or ride them recklessly. The mastered mind, it learns to float. It understands that no matter how intense the wave, it will pass. This isn't suppression, it's sophisticated emotional surfing. Here's your daily practice. Start noticing the physical signatures of your emotions. The flushed face of anger, the tight chest of anxiety, the lump in your throat of sadness. These are just sensations, not commands. The more you observe them without reacting, the more you'll realize you are not your emotions. You're the vast sky that holds the weather. True emotional freedom isn't about never feeling anger or frustration. It's about no longer fearing them or being controlled by them. It's knowing that no emotional state is permanent unless you cement it with your attention. The Zen masters had it right. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Your transformation begins the moment you stop saying "you made me angry" and start saying "I experienced anger." That subtle shift in language reveals an earth-shattering truth. Emotional responses are something that happen through you, not to you. And what can be observed can be mastered. The unshakable you. Your journey to emotional freedom. This is where your transformation begins. Not on a mountaintop, not in some distant future, but right here, right now, in the messy reality of your everyday life. That moment when you choose breath over reaction, when you pause instead of explode, when you respond instead of retaliate, that's where the unshakable version of you is born. Emotional mastery isn't about never feeling anger, stress, or frustration. It's about no longer being ruled by them. It's about reclaiming your power, one conscious choice at a time. The road won't always be smooth. Some days you'll stumble, but every time you rise, every time you choose calm over chaos, you'll grow stronger, until one day you'll look in the mirror and realize the unshakable person you've been waiting for has been here all along, ready to take control of your emotions and unlock your full potential. Hit subscribe now and join our community of mindset warriors. Every week, we dive deeper into mastering your mind, building unshakable confidence, and living life on your terms. Don't just watch the change, be the change. Turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Your future unshakable self will thank you. Drop a comment below. What's one emotional habit you're committing to change this week? Let's grow together. Stay powerful, stay unshakable, and remember, the world doesn't define you, you do.